Well, good afternoon. This is going to be informal, and so please ask questions as anything comes up. We will be putting in a trade at 12:30, and the primary purpose of this webinar today is to get you familiar with what's involved with that. The title is really what this Winning Entanglement protocol is all about. We're working to apply and improve financial predictions. In this group, we also do sports predictions, but the Winning Entanglement protocol is really designed to help viewers improve and get better. For many years now, associative remote viewing goes back a long way, but we've never been able to break this 65%, 60 to 65% ceiling for the long term. Lots of examples of reasonably long runs with higher percentages, but by the time you get out to looking at 50 predictions, we get back down to the 60, 65% level. 100 predictions, 50 predictions. That's what I mean by long term. So this protocol really intends to give you, the viewer, and actually me as the group manager, the ability to improve hit rates. It's actually designed for that. And the basic philosophy and mindset which goes along with this was summarized so beautifully in this quote. And this is sort of the attitude. Our duty as men and women is to proceed as if limits to our ability did not exist. We are collaborators in creation. The fact that we can do precognition, and I no longer even debate that. That's for sure, and anybody who's been around this field long enough has probably done examples themselves. Precognition is real. How do we apply it? And I come from a place, and as you'll see in and you've already done it, so I think you do appreciate this, but if there are any questions, this is a personal journey. In except for the target, which of course you're blind to, and the targets are chosen by the computer, so really nobody sees your target before you do, completely blind. You do your own judging. You do your own feedback. This is a complete personal journey, and it's your journey that's fundamental. I'm insisting to set this up just so you can do that in terms of the online protocol, but this is your journey. And the way you're going to improve is by paying attention to what your sub provides you. This is the communication channel, and then improving that communication channel. This is really all about self-actualizing, taking responsibility and proceeding as if the limits to our ability does not exist. We've seen all the books that the people who are in this field write, Conscious Universe, Unlimited Mind, stuff like that. So it's about realizing that, and I probably seen me show this before. I do love this one, because ultimately I don't believe, after you've been in this field for a while, that there's too much more to learn from teachers. We can show you the protocol, yeah. I can show you how to do options. I can show you things like that. But when it comes to showing you how to do better precognition, you and your sub need to work that out and build up that communication channel. Okay, there's the background. I don't think there's much more to say unless you have any questions or comments on that. I think we should go and look at the predictions. Okay, I will take your silence as being agreement with that. So, what I'm showing you now is from the programming that I've done. Remember, everything that you do now goes into a database. It goes onto our server, and it's all stored and saved. And the purpose of that is to help you as well as me, because I have the ability, and I share that with you in the emails that you see. I share some of that information with you. And what I'm showing you now is additional details that I don't put in the summary when I put out a group prediction. And that includes your comments. So for this particular prediction, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 5. Let me do, just in case somebody came in really late. There were some people that couldn't be here that still wanted to predict. Oh, I just got something from Dave. He wants to come. Russ, can you send Dave the link? Would you mind doing that? I can't do that while I'm in the middle of this. Thanks. Okay, so we had 5 people make predictions, and in addition to what I usually show you are their confidence rankings, the 2 CRs, which you know about. You've put them in here. Though Rick, I think you remember the TAR confidence ranking from 0 to 7. Up until now, nobody, including myself, knew which side was up and which side was down. So that's random. But I can see here now side 1 is up and side 2 is down. I'm getting to make a group prediction. We're going to put in a trade. So now, it's like the information comes at the latest possible time from the precognitive standpoint. And so I can see Russ didn't put in any comments, but all the rest of you did. Now, Russ had a 1.5 and a 4, and I'm now asking people to do their own personal prediction based on everything that they've done up to this point. And Russ, with everything that he did, he actually gave himself the highest possible confidence ranking. So he is very confident that it's side 2. Tammy, it's good I know the names. In fact, I ought to put that information on here too. But Tammy, you're just brand new at all this, and what you did here is exactly right. You put down words indicating where you are coming from. Those are the kind of things which will help you in the future. You might put suggestions on what you think you do. You might put how you feel. I think feelings and things like that go in here. We're all kind of trying to work out what might be the best comments to put in here. But you will have access to this as well as I now have access to this right now. Teresa, even though she ranked this as a 1 and a 3, and notice as in the TARG system, 3.5 means you thought that particular transcript was wagerable. She made this one less than 5, but I notice over here in her personal prediction, she is willing to go on record, and as some of you have seen already, after you get your feedback, you get to see your chart, and that chart has your personal predictions versus the hit and miss. So she was willing, as a personal prediction, to go with side 2. So we have 2 people whose personal predictions were side 2. I made a prediction here, but I really am doing too much with my programming and the rest of my life. And so my comment said I was rushed, and I don't feel I did very well here. But I passed. I'm a person who feels there's nothing wrong with passing. So I passed, and I don't think I add much either way. And Wayne or Dwayne, I'm not quite sure what his first name is. He did a 3 and 3, and so he just passed all along. So from the standpoint of making a prediction, I am willing to say, as a group, really based, well, here, I mean, I think you would probably do the same, that I will go with side 2 here, where WWC dinner here. The line for these are 0 because we're doing up and down, and I'll talk about the trade in a moment. But then when I click this button, out goes the email, which you all get in terms of the prediction, and it goes to the official prediction group, which everybody, all the group managers, send their predictions to. So that's the style. And this is what I do, and this is why your comments, including your personal predictions, in fact, in this case, I would have only one basis of CRs. Just gives me a little bit more confidence here that we're going in the right direction. And side 2 is down. Okay, so I'm actually writing that here. Okay. So hopefully that is clear in terms of the kind of process I go through when I send out these group predictions. Sometimes there'll be one person who will go in the other direction, and that person may very well want to follow their own particular direction. You know, each of us are responsible for our own wagering decisions. So I like that protocol. Okay, so let me see if I've forgotten anything. I always want to check this. WWC dinner. Side 2. Here is the list of everything, which agrees with what's up here. Notice only the 1 and 3 shows here. It's possible I might want to add the personal predictions here as well. Okay, so that's it. So I'm now going to send out the prediction for side 2. You should all be getting emails. This is just a summary. The way I've coded this up, it gives me back a summary. It says side 2 is down. This is actually what the email looks like. Okay. Okay, Rush, you got it. Good. That's how fast. Almost at the speed of light. So we now have made a prediction. And if you remember, the prediction was designed to go in at 12:30. So let's now talk about how we do that. Okay, I've got my GoToMeeting here. Things in the way. Okay, now at first blush, this looks complicated. I want to get a trade in by 12:30 because that's what we said. But let me just show you, we're talking about what we said here was based on SPY. Does it go up and down? This is the Standard & Poor 500 index in a stock kind of form. So it's 1/10 actually in terms of its number, roughly. There's some subtle differences. But this is the price action. And we could talk about that after I get the trade in. This is the price action every minute from the opening today to right now. This is all real time. So these are the latest trades. This is the bid and ask. And we can talk about that later. This is the put, which I happened to get in with this morning, and we made some money this morning. It turns out the trade today is also down. So we will be trading a put now. Now this is Options House, and they show both calls and puts. On this side are puts for different expiration dates. Now I'm going to be going through this. I'm saying it once now, and we will talk about it after I get the trade in for as long as you like. So the what I'm going to do, I never like to do the one that's expiring in the next day or two. I do one a week later. So this is 7 days from now. This would be 10 days from now. They have lots of different expiration dates. We're going to do the 28th of March. And the current price is $186.42. I always do the trade which is out of the money, and I like to do the even money one just because there's more open interest. There's less of a difference usually between the bid and the ask and all of that. So right now, the bid and ask, somebody is willing to sell it at 94, someone else is willing to buy it at 93. It's a fair market, only differs by a penny. Now, what I am going to do, because we said in the trade, I could just buy it now, but we said we were going to, so it's the 186 put. I want to write that down too. So these are options. I'm just moving my go-to-meeting thing over. Okay, so here is what comes up. If I wanted to now, and I'm actually going to buy, I'll buy 10 of these. So I'm going to buy 10 of these. I'm going to want to buy them at market. And here, since we said 1230, there's a little trigger thing. This is using Option House, but virtually, you know, I actually usually trade in Fidelity. In fact, this is Fidelity charts. Their charts are better than the Option House charts. Also, we have a commercial account, so this is 20 minutes delayed. But I am now going to put a trigger on time, and their time is Central Time. So we said we were going to go in at 12:30 Central Time. That's 2:30. Russ checked for me that that's 2-hour difference. So we'll watch it and make sure that in fact happens. So 2 hours ahead of time, I wanted to go in at 2:30 Central Time. It's a day order. Okay. Now, so I now want to preview this. And let's see if it's right. It says I'm buying 10 at the market price. Oops, I don't see the time constraint in there. Do any of you? No, I think if I click this now, I'm going to get the price now, which isn't the worst thing in the world.
It says 14:30 p.m., right?
Where do you see that?
Right. Well, under order ticket, under order summary, top line.
Ah, thank you, John.
Sure.
This is actually the first time I've used a time thing. Right. It's March 21 at 14th. Okay, so then we'll buy 10. I was looking down. Then we'll buy 10 at the market price. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to put the order in. Okay. So the order is in, and we should see that get executed by my position here going to 10 at 12:30 my time. If we don't, I'll put it in a market order. Now, what about getting out? I think, you know, one of the things which you've all heard me talk about is wager wisely. Another one is get rich slowly. We're working in a field where it really does take wisdom, because we're only at now 60-65% hit rate, which means we have to tolerate misses. And you don't want to lose so much on your misses that you run out of capital, or you lose more on the misses than you get on the gains. So I've always felt it was important to always put in stops and limits which are at the same amount, so that you then are protected. Also, it becomes like a 50-50 proposition. We make these close enough and the market has enough random kind of motions in it that it's roughly 50-50. So how do we do that? So we've now put in this order, and I want to show you what I've been doing, and I want to get this set up. Some people I know, like you, John, and maybe some of the other of you, have never traded options, and so by going through this is what I'm hoping you in fact will learn how to do. So there's a special kind of order that we use, and we did the 186s. Okay. And we want to sell, right? I just bought. So we're going to want to sell advanced. And we want to do order cancels order, because I'm going to put in a stop order and I'm going to put in a limit order, and I will tell you about what those are. And as soon as one goes off, the other one should be canceled because I don't own anything anymore. What this allows me to do, and I do this in the morning, and that's how we made money this morning, is I can then go away. I don't have to watch this. The last thing in the world I want to do with my day is watch the way prices go. I've got lots of other things to do. But you need to putting in an order to protect yourself. So I'm going to now have to wait until our 186 comes off so I can find out what the price is, and then I am going to take a gain of 20%. Now, in a half an hour, that may be aggressive, but it's 20% or getting out at 1 o'clock. So the market closes at 1. Actually, the options go to 115. I think that's true even on Fridays. I think what I'm going to do is get out right before 1 o'clock. I'm going to get out if we don't hit this at 12:59 and 55 seconds. Okay. Sometimes some unusual things happen right at the close. Okay, so we'll now wait. We've got 5 minutes. But what this allows me to do is sell, and I will put a limit order up 20% above whatever price we get. So I will be making then a 20% profit. And this is what I do. I have 3 financial groups now. This, in fact, is becoming the 4th, to the extent that we want to continue this and sort of do this kind of trading together. I'm here for as long as even one other person wants to do it. I like talking about this stuff, and you know, even if the move is only 10%, as long as it's in the right direction, we can get wise. We can get rich slowly. And you can see the market. You know, you can see it's going up and down and up and down. To get the 20% in options, it takes about a 0.5 move here. So that happens to be the ratio. We did an analysis of that in the past. Okay. Any questions? We've got 3 minutes. I can show you another thing. You see, of course, here how a put goes in the opposite direction of the thing. A put is an option you buy when you believe the stock is going down. So you've been really, really smart, and I never recommend trying to pick tops and bottoms. What you do is what we're doing now, is precognition. I want to know which way it's going to move by 20% from when it opens. But notice, even in this case, it opened here. You could get in on the put at 0.8. The market went up a little bit, put went down, but the market has definitely been generally down. Okay, went down from, you know, 187.60. It's now down 186.20, down 1.4 or so. Not a big percentage there, but look here, getting in at 0.8, up at 1.36 now, but as high as 1.5, almost a factor of 2. Okay, say an 80-90% increase was possible, and all we wanted to pick off was the first 20% of that, and very happy to do that when we choose the right direction. But you can see this is a highly leveraged situation, and people often talk about this as being risky, and you can definitely trade it in a risky way, but with stops and limits, you're risking 20% of whatever you put up. Notice I didn't put up the whole account. I just put up, I don't know, roughly $1,000 worth, $900 worth. So you're only risking 20% of what you put up, and that makes it very, actually makes it conservative, relatively conservative. And with a 60-65% long-term hit rate, you're going to make money. Okay, we are getting close. Let's see what happens in real time here. And I've got my calculator out. Okay. And so we're just putting in the order now. It should go off. Okay. Can you hear us? Dwayne, is that your name or is it Wayne? How shall I refer to you?
Dwayne is one.
Okay. Okay. Very good. You've now come in at the point where we've just, okay, here's the trade. You see how it went in exactly at 12:30. We bought 10 of the 186s. Let's just see what the price is. Account activity. So we got in at 0.93. Okay? And we paid $10 commission. So that's what happened. So what I am now going to do is just do a little arithmetic. I'm taking 0.93 and multiplying that by 1.2, and I get 1.116. I'm going to round that off to 1.12 because I can only do divisions. And then I take 0.93 and I'm going to multiply that by 0.8, and I get 0.744, so I'm going to put in 0.74. So I now know the limit, which is where I make money, and that's above. That should be at point, and I have 10 of these, so I'm going to sell 10 at a limit price of 1.12, which it didn't take. There it goes, 1.12. It is a day order. It goes to the best exchange. So that is, wait. This has to go to one order cancels another. Okay. Oh. Okay, I'm looking, okay. We'll take this. Let me get the orders in first, because then I don't have to worry about it moving past either way. So that's always the highest priority. Okay, so it's the SP1. You see what I did? I had to put in the one order cancels the other here. And we want to add an option leg, and we want to sell, and it's the 28th of March. So we're just putting in the numbers, which we already did. And it's the 186s. That's how they get referred to. We're selling a put. Why I want the put changed? That's not good. What's happening here? There. It's just slow. Okay. So there's the put. And we want our 10. I am not a patient person. I expect instant access. Okay. Well, looks like it's going in our direction. This is the numbers to watch here, not this chart. This chart, I'm going to show you how to get another chart. This was from this morning. Remember I told you I did a trade this morning? That was the 187s. See the put here, 187? But this is going in our direction. That's nice. Let's see if this will work. Okay. So I've got 10 of those. And the price I want is 1.12, 1.12. That's what I wrote down. It's a day order. This verifies that I have 10. This bid and ask are wrong. Oh, no. Looks like they're... Well, anyway, this is the place to get it from. And... Okay, so that's the first order. And this is called a limit order because it is above. I will not sell that unless it hits 1.12. Now, what about order number 2? Order number 2 is our stop order. That's the order that makes sure I don't lose more than 20%. That's called a stop order. Okay, so again, I want to sell, same expiration date, same strike, 186. Again, it's the put. It's 10. Now here, instead of limit, you put a stop. What that means, if any trade goes off at whatever price I put here, I then am in the market as a market order and I get out basically at that price. It might be what's called a tick, 1 penny worse, but that's really all. Now in a very, very fast moving market, sometimes it could be worse than that, and that is risk here. So that was 0.74. 10. There's the stop. 186 verified. It says stop. Okay, you understand? So now I'm going to hit preview. And it says send the following 2 orders. If one order executes, then attempt to cancel the remaining order. Okay, so I'm going to sell 10, put 186 at a limit price of 1.12. Sell 10, 186, put at a market price with a stop price of 0.74. That seems to agree? Everybody agree? Okay, I only get 3 of these, so I'm going to place the order. That's it. So the order is in terms of understanding how John the Option House works. I guess I would see that under orders, but there's a way of verifying that. Yeah, open orders.
Marty, where did you get the 0.93 when you multiplied?
Okay. Right, and here's the open order here, and I can click there and get the details. Let me answer your question. That happened under account activity. Remember I saw the 10 here under position? Here was the bid and ask, the last, bid size, ask size. Now we can slow down a little bit and kind of watch this stuff. That'd be really nice if we got this soon. But remember, the position came in, so I saw indeed the trade went off, and it shows that I have 10 here. I then went to account activity, which is here. I clicked on account activity. This came up, and it showed the fill price of 0.93 right there.
Oh, okay, thanks.
And a commission of 10. Okay, anybody else have any questions about that? No. Okay. Now, I guess one of the purposes of what I'm doing here, I now have gone through everything. There's nothing to do now but wait until 1 o'clock to get out, or you get a fill. And if this thing breaks these lows here, and it's so interesting that it worked out that way, we'll get a fill. But very often it'll test and it might bounce. How many of you have done things with the stock market? Don't be shy.
Not me.
Okay, Rick, you've done nothing. John, how about you?
I've just played with Options House a bit, and I can see I really need to take it seriously like a course to master it, because it looks really complex. Although you can simplify the display, I know, and I do that when I start. But
Well,
I haven't gotten,
okay. Okay, I'm sorry. So you did think that was complex. Yeah, I guess I've been doing it for too many years.
The thing is, there's so many variables, and you have to get each one right to make sure everything's exactly right. So I think it takes a lot of familiarity, and that's what I don't have. But I really do want to do it.
Well, what I suggest you do is keep coming
Yeah.
to these things, and on your own machine, have Option House open. And you can do a trade for one option. That's what I like about options. You can really trade for a relatively small amount as you get familiar with this.
Right.
You know what I'm
I don't know if the other people know, but Options House has a playhouse where you can just use the sort of like the house money. It's fake money in order to practice. So that's what I plan to do more of too.
Yeah, that. Plus, see, doing it here, you get the real numbers. Yep, we got out. Notice the 10 went away. Okay? So we no longer have 10. Let's now go to account activity. Oh, that was beautiful. I'm going to tell you something. I'm looking at the stats now and getting it for everything. For whatever reason, webinars have the absolute highest hit rate. And it may be there's a connection, a consciousness-based connection or something. But here it is. We sold 10. We sold at 1.12, which is where we put our limit in, right? Another $10 commission. This was 1,100. So we made 100, and I don't know if the commission is in there or not. Yes, it is, because 10 times this would be 1,020. So this is net net. So we made what, $170?
Wow.
Just that quickly. And notice we risked the same by putting up about $1,000. So this was a 20% change in, what time is it? In 12 minutes. So this shows, see, from the perspective of ARV, from the perspective of which is just predicting the up or down of the 20%, this is no different than a sporting event. This is no different than what I did this morning, where I put in a 20% trade, which would have been for the whole day. I think getting it in a half an hour may be unusual, but I'm not sure. let's come back next Friday and we'll do it again. You can set up the tasking any way you want. So please ask questions now. And John, you in particular, what was complicated about this?
Well, I came in late for one thing, so I didn't catch all the, I wasn't familiar with the fidelity chart either on the left.
Okay,
and when I practiced, I used a simpler display. For people that don't know, Options House gives you 3 different kinds of display, and the number of lines that you see, a number of rows can be reduced substantially to make it simpler for beginners like me. And other than that, I have a little trouble also following the cursor. I don't know if you would want to make a bigger cursor for it, but you point to stuff, but I don't always catch where you're going. So
yeah. Okay, well, let's go through that a little more slowly now. I mean, this was obviously a success, and there are a couple of things I would like to do. Did somebody else ask a question? No. Okay.
Yeah, Marty?
Yeah.
Can you get the steps down and kind of explain it to when you, if it's on an email or to all of us about getting the steps and all that? I don't know if I could follow that anyway, because I have no experience with it. So it is extremely complicated. But on a simpler form, I'm sure it's more less tedious and all that.
Well, and the one thing which I will be able to do is this webinar is being recorded. So you'll be able to go back and look there. But let me go over the essentials of it again now, because if you do understand the columns, and I had to go through it quickly because we got the trade in at 12:30. If you understand the columns, then I think you'll understand everything a lot better. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to now give another tutorial on this, okay, in a way. But please ask questions. The first thing you need to understand is the way these things move one versus the other. And I want you to really be clear on that. And there's an interesting chart which I like here, which is a compare chart, and I can compare this to the actual S&P 500. See, I mean, I know there are a lot of subtleties and stuff like that going on here, because SPY is not exactly the same, and we can talk some more about that, but don't let yourself get confused about that. The S&P 500 is shown in different formats. Okay. So, see this blue line? That's the actual S&P 500. Do you see how it mirrors virtually exactly down to ups and downs like this? The marketplace makes sure that these always follow each other by a factor of 110. If they ever get very far off, people can make a lot of money, and there are people who do arbitrage on just slight changes in this being 1/10 of this. So now what I want to show you is, here's the S&P 500, again, 10 times bigger than this scale, but notice the exact inverse relationship. This took a dip, this blue dip down here in the S&P 500, this takes a rise. There are people out there who, and all of this is computerized, there are people out there who have the models of what they believe are the absolute best relationship based on the amount of time left in the option and the price. But you know what? I don't care about any of that except knowing that they're out there and knowing they're willing to trade and knowing that 20% is really a good number, that you're going to get a 20% move quite often. And if you don't, you're going to get a high enough percentage move by the end of the day that it's a reasonable way of investing if you're at the 60 to 65, and as you all know, I'm shooting for 80. This is why I want a group. This is why I want you guys to all get better.
Marty.
Uh-huh.
That green and red line, it's the inverse of the S&P 500. Why is that? What is that green and red line again?
This line here is because it's a put. In other words,
okay.
the prediction.
Yeah.
See, it's good. You've got to ask these questions because one of my weaknesses is I do take too much for granted. I've given other webinars where we talked about the calls and the put. The call is something that you buy if you believe the market is going up. If we had predicted up, and remember, and some of you weren't here at the very beginning, the prediction for the group was down. If the prediction is down, then you buy a put to get the leverage that we've just seen. I mean, this was a highly leveraged trade, and we did very well. And if we lost, we would have lost in a leveraged fashion. But when the prediction is down, the thing to do is to buy a put, because if this goes down, you're guaranteed the put will go up. And the call is just the other way around. If the stock S&P were to go up, I would have wanted to buy a call, and then the call would have gone up as well. So based on which way the prediction goes, then that's the direction you go. Okay, so having said that, now let's go. So we've decided we wanted to be on the put. Now this is Option House, but I don't care where you go. As I said, I trade in Fidelity in my own account, it does all the same things. So really, all you have to understand, and the minimum page shows you this, but I'm going to keep this page, and I'm going to explain to you why. Because as you get into this more and more, you are going to get more sophisticated, and you're going to want to know about just a few other things. They're more complicated sheets than this. So first of all, notice we're talking about the SPYs. On this side are all the calls. So the people who think the market is going to go up, the SPY market are going to go up, they're going to be doing calls. And on another Friday, we may be doing calls. This side is all about the puts. Everything that goes on both sides are exactly the same. Notice the columns are the same. So let's focus on our own here, because this is what we did. First thing you have to come to a decision on puts and calls, which are more complicated than just the stock, because on the stock you can do a simple buy and sell. With the options, and this is part of why they give you so much leverage, you have to decide on which time frame you want to work. What is the expiration time? Now, notice there are others expiring on today. See the days to expiration? These are going to expire at 1:15 today. And there are people who are trading these, and in fact, maybe just for fun, well, look. See, a lot of these are getting down to practically zero, because in the next 10 minutes, there's not much chance of that. Here, this went down. Oh, and now remember, these specific numbers happen to be 20 minutes old, I'm afraid, and that's because we're in the corporate account. But when I make a trade, it's real time. So the numbers you saw for the trade were real time. So I always go at least a week ahead of time, and then the loss in days is relatively small, and I don't worry about it. So the bid and the ask, there's a difference between those. There is somebody right now who is willing, the bid means somebody is willing to sell, and notice this is real-time stuff, is willing to, well, the bid is the buy, okay? Buy. That's how I always try to remind myself. Somebody is willing to buy this, you know the old thing, buy low, sell high, which is what we did. They're willing to buy this at 103. Someone is willing to sell it at 104. They're a penny apart. But you know what? There are trades going on. And when those trades happen, you get the volume here goes up. Notice the volume, 26,000 contracts were traded today. There's an open interest of 17,000 That's what the OI means. 17,000 contracts. The reason we do SPY is it is either the most, but certainly one of the most actively traded both stocks and options. And that's why the bid and ask are so close to each other. If you get some of them, like the odd ones, they tend to be different. But that's what the bid and ask means. So, and this is the last trade, and this is the change from yesterday's close, probably. But that doesn't. I'm not very versed in that.
I got another question.
Yeah.
Those blue numbers there, as the price goes up from 185.50 up to 188.50 and higher, it seems in general that the spread between the bid and the ask increases. Can you explain why that would be, if that is in fact true?
Well, it's because there's less interest. I mean, this is a real live marketplace, and the place where there's the most volume and the most open interest are going to have the most people watching it. And so these guys on the computers, they're setting the basic difference, but they also compete against each other. Notice here, when there's a 2-cent difference, for whatever reason, it wasn't as quite as active. And that difference persists here. And we'll see if the difference persists, but there's changes, and it's just a marketplace. I mean, that's all I can tell you.
Is there a tendency for the difference between the bid and the ask in each of these rows to get closer to each other generally? Like 148 and 50, will that tend to go to 148 and 149?
It changes with time. The ones that tend to be the closest are the ones closest to what is called the closest current strike price. So the current price is 186.28. This is real time over here. Remember, here we're 20 minutes late on the options house, but Fidelity is real time. And your personal option house, John, will be real time. So don't worry about that. It's just the corporate one. This one here is so 186.21. So the closest to that tend to have the closest bid and ask. Notice down here, I see a difference of 4 cents. It's far away. So you want to be as close to the same price as the current price. And then also a lot of people take the first one that is not in the money. So by that I mean, right, we want the price to go down, but it isn't at 186 yet. So that's why we played the 186. That's called out of the money. And so this is all premium. If nothing were to change between now and the 28th of March, you know, the market went completely stagnant. The thing I know for sure is that this will go to zero over the next 8 days, because it wouldn't be worth anything at 186 if the market is 186.27. And that one tends to have a lot of action always. Okay, so that explains all of these numbers. It might look simpler without the numbers, but what you really care about is being able to identify a week away, if you're going to trade in this style. Option House will always tell you that, or there's always a date. And then you want the first one out of the money. And if you were to make a mistake on that, it wouldn't really matter. These all move about the same, percentage-wise. And the reason the prices differ, 187, well, that's already in the money. This is at 0.33. 187, already, if nothing were to change, this would be worth 0.75 or something like that of its intrinsic value. And then it probably has very much the same, what would be the variable with time value. So these is, you know, all move in very logical ways, and the calls go just the opposite. That's the only difference. Since you want the call to go up with the exercise price. Notice that's what this would be called, the exercise price. Here, as the exercise price goes up, these prices go up. Here, as the exercise price goes up, these prices go down because you're not yet at 189. I mean, it's only at 186. So yeah, somebody is willing to actually pay 20 cents thinking it's going to get up there. And notice if it does, its value, if it were to do that instantly, its value would be up at 80 or so, wherever the stock is, wherever this option price is. So you can almost see the leverage right here because you can see how much the price changed if the this price were to change by 0.5, which is the way each one of these change. That's how much you would expect the price of the option to change, the call or the put. So that's how you can figure out the leverage. Okay, so we did our 20%. I've shown you how to do this. For buying, let's go through that another time, John, because you said it was complicated. If you wanted to buy real time, and it turns out that is what I do in the mornings. I didn't want to do it here because I wanted to show you that you couldn't. But let's say I wanted to buy right now, and somebody is offering to sell this at 115, so I could just do a buy. And notice if I wanted to do nothing else, notice it put in all the right default properties. Now I knew to get it to be buy because someone was willing to sell it at 1.36, so I put in the higher number. I would have to be at a buy. But then, yes, I have to, of course, verify it's a put that I wanted, but I clicked on this side, so that's why a put came up. I have to put in the number I want. I mean, that makes sense. I have to decide if I want it to be a market order or a stop or a limit, and I would ignore all the others for now. This is market on close, but I would ignore all those. But you might want to change it to market, but all that's easy to do. Notice price went away. If it's a market, you just get the current market. But for a limit, you have to put in a price. For a stop, you have to put in a price. And then, so that I really do believe is simple. So getting in is relatively simple. Once you understand that, yes, there's an expiration price, expiration date, which you want to be like a week away. And then there's the various strike prices, but you're always going to have one close to the current price and what we call out of the money, which is in the direction you want it to move. So for a put, it's down.
Yeah.
For a call, it's up.
He went somewhere.
I'm sorry, say it again?
Oh, go ahead. Just talking on my side.
Okay. Now, the one that's complicated, and let me show you that again, John, because, in fact, I think I can get to it from here. I can get to it from here. You need to get the order cancels order. You get the order cancels order. Notice I'm now going to have a position for order 1 and order 2. And yes, you have to put in the underlying stock, we'll call it stock, and then I put in my leg, and now I'm back to exactly the same format I was before. So see, once you do this a few times, it actually does get to become familiar. The 28th of March, and sometimes, just so you know, notice it doesn't have a day. That's their normal. They started out only having one a month of these, but these became so popular they now have lots of other days. but you can always tell if it's the right one by the days to expiration, so you can always figure it out. And then you put in your strike price, and we were doing the 186s. So it takes this kind of time. Is it a call or a put? Somehow it went to a call. We were playing the puts. One click changes it. You put in your number of contracts. Is it the first one would be a limit. You put in your price, whatever price you want. And the limit is always higher because it isn't there yet. That's what you want to make money. So the limit is always higher. And then you go to the second order. I had that as a buy, but, it's whatever you want. In fact, some people would actually use this approach to buy because they would want to buy it at some price. So, in fact, let me just leave it as a buy. We're not going to put this in, of course. But I'm just showing you that it's the same process that you do when you buy originally, and it doesn't use anything more complicated than what we talked about. So you have to understand if you want to buy or sell. You have to understand the expiration price. You have to understand the strike price and getting the first one out of money, which would actually be 186.50. Sometimes in my personal account, and even here, I will go to one where there's the most volume. Sometimes on the half dollars, for one reason or another, there just isn't a lot of volume. Even here, you can see the 186s had 30,000. This has 18,000. And that is pretty typical. And so I'll go to the first even one that's out of money. But it turns out it's not that critical. The only place it sometimes comes in is with the spread of the bid and ask. But even here on this one, there's a spread of 2 cents. Sometimes you have to live with that. Okay, so I'm rambling a little bit here. Are you getting, though, I hope you're getting the sense that this isn't quite as difficult as it does first appear. I will grant you, you have to understand this and feel confident that you can choose the right one. And that comes with experience.
Yeah.
In fact, like a lot of things, the best way to proceed here is to do it.
Marty? Are you suggesting then that each time we do this, we'd be placing 3 orders? First, the original, I guess, call or put, and then a stop and a limit order? So that's 3 orders each time?
That's correct. You put in one order as a single order because that then gives you the price that you got in. You then do your arithmetic, 20% up for the limit, 20% down for the stop, and then you put in this double order. So what I just showed you was the double order, and I don't even know if they would consider that 2 orders. They probably consider it 1 order. It's a 1 cancel other order. So just to be precise, you put in your buy order on the put or call. You then do a calculation of 20% up, which is the way you want the price to go, 20% down. You then put in 1 order for 1 cancels another with the limit price of 20% up and the stop price of 20% down, and then you can leave your machine. And you double check everything, and I've gotten to the point where I'm accurate about 99% of the time, and I still make mistakes. So it's true. Okay. So talk to me, guys. I can go back and we can talk a little bit more about the protocol, or we can talk more about puts and calls. This was really good. First of all, I want to congratulate you guys. And you know what? We can do feedback now. Let's do that. are there any more questions on this? The fact that this happened, you guys, I now want to show you how I can send out a link and you can do your feedback. Now do notice that the market, it's past 1 o'clock, so the market closed. Things are still going on though. Do you see there's bid and ask here, and there should be bids and asks here as well. Let's verify that.
So are people trading after hours, or what's going on?
Yeah, it goes for 15 minutes after. It's sort of like a wrap-up. Yeah. So I don't see any trades going on. Oh, that's, though I know it trades until 15 after. You can see it here.
Yeah.
But maybe it doesn't happen in the app. The last trade was at 158, and there hasn't been any trade after that. And it's a Friday. It's possible they do something different on Fridays. That was okay. So we'll have to find out about that. But yeah, go ahead. Someone has a problem?
Looks like Dave was trying to talk.
Dave, you have anything you want to say about this? Do you kind of get this? You there, Dave? Okay. Silent Dave.
Is Rick there?
I'm here. Dave's trying to talk, it looks like. We're not here now.
Yeah. I don't know why you've got an X through your mic, but I do hear you.
I'm on the phone, that's why I've got mine muted.
Ah. Okay.
I didn't find my stick. So, Marty, on the
Yeah.
I have Interactive Brokers account.
Yes.
Do
Perfect.
I get to use Options House as the software for that?
No,
Or I
absolutely
use
not. Interactive Brokers has a better option setup than Options House. I use it as
Okay.
well. I use Fidelity. I use this. They're all the same. And Rick, when you get to the point where you want to trade, maybe we'll take one of these Friday go-to-meetings and we'll use the Interactive Brokers platforms.
Okay.
I can help you with it, okay? Because,
Okay.
frankly, it is the best platform. It's even a little better than Fidelity.
Is there a beginner's book to read for doing this type of trades? I see what we're doing here. It's kind of complex, but I see the flow of it, and you see the reasoning.
Yeah.
Like John was saying, you just got to make sure we have the nuance.
I am
Is there any?
telling you could get on the internet. All of these places, if you search hard enough on any of them, they have educational sites. In my opinion, come to another Friday. And next time,
Okay.
have your account open and do it. You know, and yes, if you want to go, they all also, Interactive Brokers as well as Option House, have practice sites.
Yes.
Do it. But doing it for real, even for one option, where you know you're not risking much. I mean, look, this option is worth $100, 20% up or 20% down is $20. It's worth doing it for real. Ah, thanks, Dave. And you can practice. You can practice that way, but it's the mindset of doing it for real is just different than practice.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think the best way to learn is do you guys want to do this next Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask
Yes.
that. Okay, terrific. We'll do the
Well,
same
just
thing.
one question, though. If you have 3 other financial groups, would it be better for us to fold into one of those so you have less work? Or?
No, I like this. This is fun. You know, I'm fitting all of this in with the rest of my life and the rest of the schedule, and this fits in very nicely with my schedule, and it's another trade. You see, I do a lot of passes, and this group didn't have to pass this time, but sometimes the group is going to pass. The way you're going to make money both slowly and wisely is to put in many trades at 60, 65%. You know, you go through your misses, but you get more hits, and then you accumulate money. So part of the strategy, I believe, is to do more trades.
Right.
So I frankly would prefer to do this on Friday. Also, this webinar, for whatever reason, I think knowing we're getting together and talking a little bit, you know, hopefully you won't be as quiet next time and I can shut up a little more, but I, you know, this is our first one, so I'm doing a lot of talking.
Like John said, your cursor, when you move it, it disappears. It only appears when you stop for a bit. So
Yeah.
maybe if you make a bigger cursor just for the webinar,
Yeah, I don't.
maybe a different color. I don't know. Figure out.
Someone might have to show me how to do that. I will. I'll take a look into that.
I can help you with
I
that.
do
Sure.
remember there's a choice of that. I'll take a look at that.
Right.
In fact, I'm going to write
Okay.
that down. That's an action item for me. Okay, let's do feedback.
Yeah.
Unless some more questions.
And tasking. I mean, we'll get that too, right? How many tasks
That comes in the email. I think I put you in the, in all of you should be in the WWC dinner group. Are you? Do you?
Yes.
No, I did not get the one you just sent now, so I'm not in it.
Okay, that's right. You just can't. Okay, so that's another. I will put you in it, Rick.
Okay.
And the tasking will probably be either tomorrow or the next day, and you will get it in that email. If you don't,
Okay.
contact me, because even though I wrote down my action item, again, I've been known to miss one every now and then. But you definitely will get a tasking in at least by Sunday. I try to give a day for people to do feedback before I do a new tasking. I mean, that's the logic there. Not that it's essential, but that's my logic.
Are we in the WWC group then, and not the financials? This is done through the WWC group.
Well,
is that right?
The Fridays are now.
Okay.
The Friday, and you're still in the financial group you were in before. I didn't take anybody out of any groups.
Okay.
So you have to decide how many you feel comfortable doing per week. But
Okay.
especially you, when you're trying to learn the options and everything, you know, if you have to give up one of the others, do this. But it all has to fit into your life comfortably. So, okay, Dave was just asking, and I did see it, which is a good thing. Why can't we do binary? I believe this is better than binary, and it's definitely better than binary for learning. So I really believe you ought to take the time to get into this approach. And I'll put you also, Dave. I don't know if you're in WWC or not. But I really recommend, if you want to get better at ARV, that you do the two transcripts, because they're also reinforcing of each other for you. You also do your own judging here. The amount that you learn from judging is rather enormous as well.
I thought you made a really good call on this one, because I think I was the only viewer that had the wrong direction, and you discarded mine and chose the other two to get the correct prediction. So.
And that's right. And you weren't here at the beginning. One of the reasons I did that, in fact, let's see if it's still here, is one of the things which I get is summary information, which doesn't only include the confidence ranking. It includes comments, so I can get a feeling on how comfortable. Plus, it includes this personal prediction, where a person makes, notice, everybody is doing this on their own in terms of judging their transcript. No other human being has ever seen it, so it minimizes displacement, and they make their prediction. And so, no, in this case, Russ actually gave himself a 7 on side 2. So that was a factor in my decision. And also Teresa, who only gave herself a 3, over here, personal, gave herself a 3.5.
Yeah.
So, see over here? I'm now moving my thing so you can see it. So the personal prediction was a strong factor in me comfortably going to the correct, what turned out to be the correct side.
This isn't the one I was in, though, it looks like, because I don't see myself listed there.
Oh, you did the financial. Okay. You're right. But I still answered the question. I think you weren't here to see this. So
This is what you're looking at right now is not the trade we just made, right?
it is the trade we just made.
Okay, I'll have to ask you later about my sessions for financial. I thought I was, anyway.
This isn't financial. This is WWC dinner.
Right.
And I don't think you put a trade in there.
Well, I did a couple of, I'll ask you later, I did a couple of sessions for those,
Financial.
those TRNs. Yeah, okay.
That you did it for financial, and they were used there.
Okay.
And that's important for all of you to understand. They are different groups. The people are all predicting the same outcome. That's why I can make a group prediction. But the financial group predicted this morning, and we made money this morning too. Though, well, another story. Okay, let's go do feedback now. So I'm now showing you what I do.
Stand for?
WWC dinner?
Yeah.
I'm so glad you asked, because it's sort of an inside joke. WWC stands for Winning Wild Card. And that was the protocol. Still, the card that comes out that is on the winning side, we call that a wild card. In Wii, that's now called the winning wild card, because it's always on the winning side. Well,
Okay.
in our last, that's the WWC, but in our last workshop in Vegas last year, I can't believe I'm blank. Nancy, who was big in the winning wild card protocol and all that, came in with a chicken head hat on and was saying, winner. How does that go? Dave
Winner,
says
chicken dinner.
Winner, chicken dinner. Winner, chicken dinner. And it was really funny. And we really all enjoyed her because she brought in the hat. I think actually Dave might have been one of the first in his emails to say winner, chicken dinner. And notice WWC, same initials. And so
Oh, yeah.
when I started that group, it was WWC dinner.
Nice.
This is the first time I've ever said that publicly, but that was okay. Okay, so now you're going to see how I go about putting in the outcome. And this is all programmed through our server, but this is the group, winner, dinner. And now it comes here, and I now just verify, yes, this is the 12:30 p.m. event. Side 1 was up, side 2 was down. We predicted side 2 with a 0. And side 2 is what happened. WWC dinner is there. The actual score. Now, since we did this right on the option for the first time, and I'm actually thinking of changing the other groups, because I kind of like going with the option. But in this case, we actually worked the option. I wonder if, did the S&P go down 0.5? I'm trying to be consistent here. I think it probably did. Yeah, it did. Okay. All I'm saying here, just so you understand what I'm doing, is I had put in a trade based on the 20% option, which is what I always do. You know what? I'm just going to switch. I'm going to switch here. So we got in at... I'm going to switch here. Okay. We got in at 1.12. We got out at 0.74. it went down 0.38. Notice, so that, is that right? 0.38. Just make sure my arithmetic is right. 12, 10, 11. Yeah, okay. So this is, so the outcome is down. I can't spell. Outcome is down for a hit. Using option prices, which were equiv to S&P 500. I'm trying to record everything just because questions come up, and okay, which is equivalent, okay, for a hit, big happy face, and that's it. You know, I try to make this as easy as it is for me because, believe it or not, I want to do a lot of remote viewing. I enjoy remote viewing, and I never have enough time, but I am going to. Okay, so final check. WWC dinner, score negative, side 2 is down. There it is. Prediction is side 2. That's right. And that's it. So now I'm going to hit this, and at the speed of electrons at least, you should get it. So check your email. In fact, I did one. I can check my email. Yeah, in fact, here's the prediction. Here's the prediction and line 1. And so I'll put that there. And this is the one that went to the app prediction group. Dave, well, you're here now, hopefully. And I should get, here we go. So, now I am not going to do mine now because my feedback picture is different than yours. So that's a good thing for each of you to understand. It turns out if you use the option where you choose the pictures that I've chosen, I've got 100 of them, then we all would be the same. But I don't think that's better or worse. I just left that as an option for us to discuss downstream if we all want to use the same picture. Any of the other options, everybody that goes in gets a different picture from either Mark White's group or Russ's group. And from my group, you'll also have a unique picture. So I will not click mine, but why don't each of you do your own feedback now and do a submission on it. And then we can talk about the feedback, and we can then talk about the charts. At the very end, you're going to get a chart and your own data, which I believe is a very important part of what you're about to do. In fact, wait, give me 1 minute before you leave me, because I do want to make one other. These are the kind of charts which you get personally. This happens to be a group one, but the whole point of we is to learn and apply your communication skills between all of your now moments. Notice you had now moments when you did your remote viewing session. You're having now moments now, and the now moments you're about to have with your feedback is when you learn the most about the communication, the precognitive kind of communication. So this is absolutely key, what you're about to get into. And I'd say go do it. I'm going to do it as well, my own. So I will be submitting my own. I think I'm going to take, and maybe we can also do a break. What is it now? It's now almost 1:30. How about 10 minutes, 15 minutes? How long do you usually take for your feedback sessions, guys? John, how long does your feedback take? John?
I haven't been doing it lately, but it doesn't take too long. I haven't been doing any lately, but
Okay.
maybe 10, 15 minutes at the most.
That's what I was going to say. Let's do that. I'm going to put us on pause, and let's relax, and let's just go 10 minutes. Okay? Let's just make it 10 minutes. I really want to end at 2. I've got things I have to do at 2.
Yeah, me too.
And so we'll take 10 minutes. So at 20 to 2, it's now 29 after. In 20 minutes, we'll resume and submit your feedback if you can. And if you can't, that's okay too. I'm just going to go on from there. Okay. See you guys in 11 minutes.
All right. Perfect.
Thanks.
Okay, 3 more minutes. People can turn off their mics. So I finished. So if anybody else has any questions on how to do feedback, what the purposes are, we can start talking about that now. Dave, are you in WWC dinner? Is that?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, this is messed up. Okay. Technology, not my thing. I had no idea I had a microphone.
I hear you.
It's actually in my laptop.
We've all been there at one point or another.
I hope I wasn't making weird, obnoxious noises, which I usually do. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And I've been working in faxing and paying my E&O insurance and.
I actually was able to mute you. Let me ask you a question though. Are you in the WWC dinner group?
I don't know. I kind of want to be in every group, but you know.
It's okay. Now I'm just going to. Do you want to come next Friday? I mean, do you want to be part of what we're doing now?
Well, you know, Marty, I want to be in all the groups. That's
okay.
You know, all the groups that you'll let me in. I want to be in them.
You can be.
But I don't know how often I can participate. But
yeah.
You know,
Okay. I'm adding you to the list. I will make sure you're in it, and everybody who's here.
I like the dream. I like the dream of being involved in all of them.
Right. Okay. I will put you in it. You will get the tasking for the one for next Friday. And I really think, you know, if you're going to do ARV as opposed to your non-ARV stuff, I'd recommend this is the one because you're totally responsible for everything. You will actually learn more about your consciousness from doing this than any other technique I know. Okay, we all should be back. The 10 minutes are up. When you finished, and some of you I know didn't do this, but at the end of the feedback, you first do feedback for the winning side, then you do feedback for the other side. You get 2 pictures if you've chosen that option, and then something like this comes up. So I think I'm going to click mine, but each of you probably ought to click your own, and I'm hoping, and this is where we're doing this together, folks. I hope that's absolutely clear. We're all moving ahead to this 80% mark together. But, I'll admit I'm taking the lead here and putting things out, but the way it'll get better and better is from feedback from you. And this is part of one of the ideas, which is to give a plot like this and information concerning the comments that you put in. So, in fact, let me verify. The last set of comments for the confidence ranking are here, not the feedback. That's something I haven't yet programmed, but it's not clear. I'll put it here. I think I will put a link at the end here that will let you see your comments. All I have here now are the comments associated with your confidence rankings, but I do have a nice summary chart and a summary here of hits, misses, and passes. Notice I have 23 passes, and that's because too many of my comments are, as I did rush this. But I did that on purpose, frankly, because I was testing the system. So I went through just as you would as a remote viewer, and I found bugs, and I know some of you were caught in bugs, and I appreciate you being beta testers. But anyway, you should verify, those of you that did submit a session, that by the time you got at the end, you've got a plot like this. Is that true? Did that work?
Not for me, Marty.
But you didn't submit a... Did you submit a session?
Yeah.
Okay, but it was your first one. It was your first one, right?
Yeah.
So what you should have
right?
instead of a plot is probably just a square or something that says error, but you should have something about the CRs that you put in here. Let me see. If you don't, what do you? Let me see. What do you have?
Well, I don't have it up, and I don't know how to get back into it, if I can or can't, or...
Oh, okay. Did you do feedback?
I guess
Did you do feedback?
And you mean yesterday when I did it, or I'm confused?
Okay, hey, that's why we're doing these webinars.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm confused.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all right.
I thought the feedback was the stuff that you were showing earlier with the comments that we did.
No, but notice you didn't see your target. Right? Until just now, you've never seen a target.
Yeah, I saw the target afterwards.
Yeah, I did too.
I saw one. I didn't see two.
Right, I saw one. I saw the lizard.
Okay, wait. When you say afterwards, you mean in this last 10-minute period?
No, yesterday or whenever I did it.
That's because you did something not for WWC dinner.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have my comments for it.
Then then what did you do? What did you do 10 minutes ago? 15 minutes ago?
Nothing. I sent you a little chat message saying.
You didn't check your email.
In my email, there's nothing. The only new email I have from you is for Sage Group.
Okay. I think I know the problem. Perfect. I'm not happy with it, but because I didn't think about it in advance.
I don't either.
Okay. Well, yeah, the reason you guys didn't do it, didn't get it, and I won't be able to give it to you, well, I will, but it's not going to be easy, is you're not in WWC dinner.
Oh, I thought I was, though.
Okay, let's see. Here's WWC.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about the what you check and what not to check and all that. So apparently we need to go.
Okay, let's go through these.
I mean, I know I did the exercise.
No, I bet you're not. These are all the people in WWC dinner.
And I'm not in there.
You're not in there. So that's why you didn't get the email, which you would click to get the feedback for the sessions you just did. In
Gotcha.
fact, wait now, but I believe I can correct that.
You want to do that now, Tammy?
Yes.
Are you there? No, you're there. I'm not.
Okay, so let me put all of,
Right.
let's get all of you in. There's a way of inviting directly. Direct add members. Okay. Let me see if there's an easy way to get your email addresses. You can always give them to me, but here's my, here.
Okay, I don't have the email.
Okay, and that's because you're not in the group.
Right, okay. No problem. I'm glad we figured this out.
Right, and I'll put you in the group right now, so that one will never happen again. Give me the front part of your email, Tammy. Let me do you first.
It's Seaway,
That's right.
S-C-A-W-A-Y,
Yeah, there you
444.
Okay. Okay.
There I am.
All right. And this is other stuff that I get in my email. It just happens to make it easier for me to follow what's going on and to do checking and stuff like that. Okay. Dave, you ought to be here. Who else isn't in that should be in? Dwayne, were you in? What's your, okay, you were not in here, but
okay.
let me get you.
That's all right. It's D-E-W-A-Y-N-E, my first name.
Okay.
And then F-L-O together.
Here, wait. I've got it here. It's just easier to copy and paste for me. I'm a big copy and paste guy.
Me too.
Okay. So.
I'm on your to-do list, Marty.
And I'll put you in, Rick. Let me see if you come up. Some of the people that are here, you are. Okay. Anybody else? So everybody who's here either saw their name on the list or in here now. Okay. Hi, all. It'll be just one of you. Okay. You are now on this list. Okay. All the email. I now do a add 2922 955 358 35. There you go. 4 people were added. Now let me resend that email. And you will have the link. And first time I've ever done it, but I think it will work. But we will see. Okay. So here's the feedback. You know, I never use it from here, ever. How do you post? Just, post, does that mean a new post? Well, did you get it in your email? I didn't say. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, click on it and let's see if it works. It should work. Because it doesn't have anything special about you in it. It's only for the WC and this date.
Aha.
So you can see that you can do your feedback now.
Okay.
And Rick, of course, you didn't submit, so I don't know if you do it, it should give you an error or something. But you see the procedure. You see how everything is done online. You get your feedback. You put in comments, which will be available to you. I haven't programmed that part yet, but shortly all of that will be programmed. So you teaching yourself. And the comments you put in are really for your own benefit. Though I will admit the CR comments are good to put in, you know, if you think they might help me make a judgment. Things like the people did. I feel real confident about this. Gee, I had a bad headache, and that came in on me during the session. You know, I'd like to know stuff like that. but that's during the CR comments. Okay. Anybody
My
else?
feedback, Marty, is you can't find or open the
Right,
directory.
and that's because you didn't submit any.
Appropriate.
They couldn't
Right.
find your name. See, the other people did get theirs because they had submitted.
Yep, just a good test.
Right. Excellent. Right. Yeah, at least you didn't get somebody else's, Rick.
Yeah, that's right.
So it was a good test. Anybody else?
Marty,
Yep.
yeah, Marty, I gotta go. So, it's nice
Okay.
talking to you.
You're
I'll
not
be
gonna
here
miss-
next Friday.
Okay, that's great. And you'll get through this email address, so I'm really glad we did this, the tasking in a couple of days, and hopefully we'll see you next Friday.
Okay, you bet.
Okay, that's great. In fact, what I'm going to do now is just give one last brief summary of this sort of for the record. The feedback, what you just did now, is so important because information goes both ways, not only forward in time, like what we did linearly. You did your RV session, we had the event, and then we were after. But it can go backwards in time, right? Here's where we actually made the prediction in linear time. Here's where we knew the outcome, so you could do your feedback. But in precog time, it starts with the after. You're able to know like you know now. And this is why your feedback session is so important, because that information goes back through the event to the RV time. And that perspective, I believe, is really valuable. In fact, I've invented my Yitram as a entity within me that lives that way. All of Yitram's experiences are backwards in time, and he is not perfect. But if his experiences are like this, he saw the outcome, he saw this, when he's here, and notice Yitram is with you all the time, because all there is the here and now. So Yitram is with me when I was doing my RV session. For him, this was memory. And we're working on sharing his memory with me here to facilitate or to make the precognition happen. And I know that is a weird perspective, but let's face it, precognition is weird, because what all of this means is there's a place which is like outside of space and time. It's like the event already happened. It's been out there forever. And yes, we do our RV session. We have our after session, but it's all out there entangled with the outcome, the prediction. It's all entangled together. That's kind of weird. And we have to be going through a linear time way, but somehow this information is going in a backwards way. And gee, imagine if there might be an entity, some way of looking at the universe where information is shared in a backwards way. Because that's clearly what happens in precognition in some way which the intellect doesn't understand. Something like that is happening. Okay, I've had a lot of fun. Feedback is really the key to all of this. This is what ties this together through time. And the assumptions really are that you're sub, and I really like sub. I always now think of it as the submerged consciousness. It's this here and now moment is what you're conscious of. You know, everything is in the here and now moment, but it's also in like eternal time. But the here and now moment is now, everything else is submerged. And you can, in fact, communicate information. We see that over and over again. For the long term, and maybe this is opinion, but as time goes on and you look at your sub, you need to figure out what your sub wants to enhance the communication with you. Notice there's a lot of yous and yours in here, which fits in with the whole theme of we. Now, I believe being interesting, having some creative aspect to it, I think is kind of important. Learning in a creative way to enhance the communication. And I keep trying to come up with creative ways, which is related to keeping it interesting for me. Why am I putting my time into it? And I think meaningful is very important, frankly, because again, why am I putting my time into this? For me, I believe it's important, and now this is a big picture, but this is just me, to convince society that their view of the universe is way, way too narrow. I think that's something important. I'm old enough that that's part of what I'm doing. And that's one of the reasons I want to make money, because I believe that'll be the only way to convince society. The science has actually proven it already, and yet even scientists won't accept it. And then I think it's important to believe it is a true partnership and that the communication is a two-way thing. In we, both sides are important. That's why we do two. There's the winning side, and then there's the other side. One side is for your submerged consciousness. I like to think of the other side being for my yitram, for the submerged consciousness. Notice the submerged consciousness sees that one first, coming from a backward perspective. And both get shared. You get feedback from both. Okay, I really thank you. I've shown this many times. I love it. It's a poor sort of memory. It only works backwards. It isn't like the general idea hasn't been around forever. It isn't like precognition and premonitions or anything new. What is new with we and our group is we're focused totally on applying it, and period. We want to take this reality and turn it into money and then share that with society. Left brain doesn't understand any of this. The right brain gets it and does it and has a good time doing it. Okay. Really, thank you. I just enjoy this, as hopefully you pick up. And I couldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you. And I am looking forward. I will send out tasking for next Friday. And any questions, final comments?
Thank you so much, Marty. It's greatly appreciated.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you.
Well done. Well done.
Okay. Okay, then I will end this for all of us. And all I can say is it's a real pleasure, and I will see you all in this same mode next Friday. You all take care.
All righty.
Bye.
Very good.
Bye.
All right. Bye.